through the projection of chaos.
You drew chaos.
Yeah, exactly. I drew chaos. And so until I realized that it was me that was drawing it to myself, I had this external element that I needed to set boundaries to keep chaotic people away from me, even though I was the one that was drawing them in. It's funny. I laugh about it now, but I had to be very, very intentional. And that was during my my season, my Dark Night of the Soul. You guys hear me talk about it all the time just because I think it's the most fantastic, fabulous journey that is so necessary, so lovely. Sucks really bad when you go through it. You come on the other side and you're like, I'm a rock star. I can handle anything now. I had to come face to face with this. Peeling all the layers of the onion all the way down to the core, where you just cry and cry and cry and you get down to nothing where everything is, and then you realize you still have more to go. But this time it's more the nuances, and you start laughing your way through it instead of crying your way through it. It's kind of like a Haliva moment of, yes, another layer, yes, another layer. Okay, I am going somewhere with this. So I had this conversation with a gentleman that came into my path. He kind of bulldozed his way into my path, and I said yes to a conversation. And there was something that happened very strange to me that, like, I wasn't getting it until after the conversation was done. I started getting, I wouldn't say I was getting triggered, meaning I got triggered because I was angry. I noticed that my speech became a little bit more firm and a little bit more terse and a little bit more of an edge on it. And it was something that was different than my unconscious, subconscious responses when I triggered. What I felt like when I got done with the conversation, it was like my oversoul was stepping in and taking control of the situation, because the individual that was in conversation with me was trying to take light. And it was so different than me being triggered by somebody else that was pushing a button that was dealing with a wound that was underneath that I needed to deal with. It was a very much unconscious but conscious way. It's the most strange thing I've ever experienced in my life, and I had to sit with it because I had to ask myself, was that a trigger? And then I was like, no, I wasn't triggered, but it was like this natural progression that side of me, the Shamarian, the Shamar, the Samaritan side of me that guards and protects the expansion of light within me, started moving into that space of being the boundary. Meaning, I didn't need to set the boundary, I am the boundary. So when there's expansive light that is running through the vessel and your sphere has been enlarging, when somebody starts encroaching upon that sphere of light and you start feeling that, it automatically is putting you in a place where you are deflecting it, right? It's like it automatically, and you don't even have to think about it. And it was a marvelous experience. Like, I was uncomfortable in the moment because something was happening and I couldn't understand why it was happening until I went through the process of asking myself questions. And I was like, oh my God, I never have to set boundaries again because I am it.
Well,
I am the boundary. It was very, very, very liberating to know that I didn't have to make those intentional boundaries anymore, that I actually became it.
The servant rents space, the master owns space.
So good, yeah.